Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the City Council meeting for the City of Lenore for Tuesday, March 6, 2018. We welcome you here. Exciting evening. Thank you all for being a part of that and for joining us for this great and special presentation tonight. We're really honored to recognize Chief Briscoe and Charles Beck, and then recognize our new Fire Chief, Ken Hare, and our new Public Works Director, Jared Wright. We're glad that you guys are with us. Thank you for taking on those roles and stepping in. We know it's going to be great leadership. We appreciate it. As we get ready to go to our moment of silence, and I've got a back glass here, and our Pledge of Allegiance, I would like for you to keep in mind Donna Bean, our Finance Director. Donna's granddaughter, Trinity, had some emergency surgery, and she's 5 years old, I think, and seems to be hopefully doing better. But please keep Donna and her family in your thoughts and prayers as her granddaughter continues to recover. Also continue to keep in your thoughts and prayers Todd Perdue's mom as she continues to go through some things, and we'll keep her in our thoughts and prayers. And we're glad that TJ Rohr's wife, Lisa, is doing better and seems to be improving all the time. And we appreciate you keeping us abreast of that, and always tell Lisa we're thinking about her. So
thank you.
Thank you for that. Anyway, at this time, we'll remain, if you will, stand please for a moment of silence and remain standing for our pledge. Thank you. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we have a matter scheduled for a public hearing this evening. This is a speed limit request for Fairlane Drive. This hearing, we'll hold the hearing to consider amending the city's Code of Ordinances, Appendix B, Traffic Subsection 1, Section 114, 20-mile-per-hour speed limit on the following streets to extend the posted speed limit of 20 miles an hour for the entire length of Fairlane Drive, allowing for posting at the discretion of the Public Works Director. I will open the public hearing, and first I will entertain our Police Chief, Scott Brown, to give us some background information on it.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a request from several citizens of Fairlane Drive. If you recall, this came before you last April. You decided not to take action at that time, and that was understandable because we were not able to identify any real traffic concerns as far as the data. We collected data over a period of days on Fairlane Drive, and the average speed was 27 miles per hour, which was a relatively safe speed for that neighborhood. However, the residents have come back and requested that we revisit this. Although we haven't identified a speeding issue that would constitute necessarily a safety concern, it's not an unreasonable request to lower that speed limit to match other cities or other streets in that neighborhood. Mr. Paul Propst has led the way on behalf of the residents in that area, so he was able to join us here tonight. But I do think it's a reasonable request to lower this. Otherwise, with the street not being posted, it defaults to 35 miles per hour. That is not a safe speed for Fairlane Drive. So,
thank you. Any questions of Chief Brown while he's up here at the podium? Okay, thank you. Now we'll open the public hearing again, as I said, and open for anybody who would like to address the council. When you come up, please, if you'll give us your name and address, we would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Paul Propst. I live at 324 Fairlane Drive, Northeast, here in Lenore. I'm probably one that started the request for the speed limit decrease. There's a number of reasons for this. I've been trained in risk assessment by the military and in the civilian sector. If anyone knows Fairlane, they do know that there are no shoulders on either side, especially the portion that's adjacent to my property. There's a big ditch on one side and a big drop-off on another. There are 4 buses that run that road. The road is not of a normal width. Those buses that come through on the end of Fairlane where it meets Meadowwood is not wide enough for a bus and a car to pass. It also has no shoulders. It has trees on one side and a ditch on the other. There are 2 blind curves on Fairlane. There is a house that has cars that park in front of it right before that curve at numerous times. And this causes a problem for the blind curve. The reason for the reduction that I have requested is my mailbox has been hit 4 times, once by a bus and 3 times by cars. And I've replaced it at my expense. People are not wanting to slow down. I realize posting a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit may not slow people down, but if they're caught, they can be ticketed. So, with that being said, I do formally request that that speed limit be reduced to 20 miles an hour. I have a what would you call it, suggestion. If speed limits cannot be posted in residential areas, come up with a referendum that states a speed limit, regulatory sign that states speed limit is whatever you decide through the residential area at that time, and post it to the entrances of residential areas. I've seen these in other cities, and they apparently do fairly well. That's just a suggestion to throw out there. But I do thank you for letting me stand up here and speak to you and request this and give you a little information on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Quick question, Chief. Marcel Street and the other streets that feed into it, are they posted anything? Are they the same?
There's a couple over there that are 20, there are a couple over there that are 25, but Fairlane is the only one that is not posted
Okay.
currently.
Okay. Anyone else that would like to address the council concerning this issue while we're in the public hearing section, part of it? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to council for any discussion and/or action.
I'd like to first say I appreciate all the extra effort to make sure that we're taking care of safety and some of your options to consider for posting is something that we can take into consideration, but I'd like to make a motion to approve
Okay.
item A as presented.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Councilmember Thomas that we approve the change of speed limit to 20 miles per hour on Fairlane Drive.
I would just like to make
Go-
another
yes, sir, go
another
ahead.
personal comment, Mr. Propst. I appreciate you bringing this issue to our attention. I grew up on Fairlane, so I know just exactly what you're talking about.
I grew up,
Although it was dirt when I was over there.
I hate to admit this, but I grew up having a good time going down Marcel Street.
So it's because of people like you.
Yeah, I know, I agree. That was a long time ago. Any other discussion? Yes,
Just
sir.
one more. If the street is not wide enough, would there be a proposal, or could it be widened for state or city requirements, particularly if there are school buses that travel there? I know I agree with the speed limit, but that is going to only fix part of the problem, but could there be?
Well, there is a problem because on the way up to Paul's house, there is nothing there. It drops
Exactly.
off on both sides.
Thank you.
Just houses down below, right?
A portion of the street was recently repaved by Public Works, but there's not a lot of room there to make it much wider.
Right.
In certain places. In certain parts of the street, it's as wide as any other street. I can't remember the exact dimensions, but there are narrow spots.
especially since the other streets around it are all either 20 or 25. Probably ought to get pretty uniform, really, in that.
Well, and he brought up a good point. It at least now allows for ticketing. I mean, it's hard, I'll admit, it's hard to drive 20, but at least if you've got a mechanism now in place to have it write a ticket and be able to back it up.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're here, because I think the last time this was brought up, I think if you'd have said that, it would have passed unanimously, just what you just said. So I'm glad we were able to bring it back up, and because this should have been done a couple years ago.
Well, I always felt like anytime they're posted like that, at least people are thinking about when they turn on the street and they see 20 miles per hour, they're going to think, I need to slow down.
Yep.
They might not drive 20, but they're at least going to slow down and think about it, so. Any other discussion? We have a motion on the floor. No other discussion. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Propst, for being with us this evening. Thank you, Chief, for your work on putting all this together. We appreciate that. All right, we'll move on then to consent agenda items. Tonight consisting of minutes of the City Council meeting of Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. Minutes from the closed session minutes of the City Council meeting of also Tuesday, February 20th, as reviewed by the City Attorney, the City Manager, and the City Council. Item C are minutes of the City Council Planning Retreat of Friday, February 23rd, 2018. Item D is the approval of a purchase. This is for property on Virginia Street. This is a purchase of a 0.316861 acre lot, North Carolina PIN number 274-944-0199, parcel ID number 06-43-3-11, located on Virginia Street and owned by the Mrs. Clyde Miller heirs. This is for a purchase for this lot of $10,800. Item E is an amendment for the pay and classification plan. Approval of the pay and classification plan amendment for establishing an assistant fire chief prevention position and an assistant fire chief logistics position. Item F is the extension of the conditional use permit for 205 Greenhaven Drive. This is for a one-year extension of the conditional use permit for property located at 205 Greenhaven Drive for the 60-unit multifamily senior living development in the general business, that's B2 zoning district, known as Crescent Point, and as requested by Gardner Capital. There's a note, the conditional use permit was approved by City Council on April 16, 2016 for a 24-month period, and the applicant is requesting a one-year extension to the two-year time limit. So the items A through F are presented. Is there any discussion on any of the items?
I'd like to pull E and F, Mayor, if we can, just for classification.
Oh, and F was unanimous by council before. We have a request from Councilmember Perkins to pull E and F for now. So do I have a motion on items A, B, C, and D?
So move.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis makes a motion to approve items A, B, C, and D on the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Now, we'll discuss item E. This is the amendment for the pay classification plan for changing for an assistant fire chief for prevention position and assistant fire chief logistics position.
I know a lot of times that we identify employees or people that are being advanced or moving up, and just for my clarification, I would just like to know who these guys are, and if that's possible. And my second part of that would be, if we're moving two guys up in positions, will these vacant positions be filled, and when will they be filled? Or will that create a problem since we're advancing two people?
Positions have not been filled at this time. We have to create the positions first. And so once they're created, then they'll be filled with internal staff. And the other positions will be filled up the ranks, yes.
Oh, okay. So are these guys, do we know who these guys are? Just for me, I just like to know. And
There is no one.
There's no,
Okay.
this is just a pay classification plan. This is just
Okay.
to see what these positions are. Just,
Okay.
if I'm asking, Scott. So the purpose of these studies is to see what these positions pay across the state and how
Well,
it
no,
compares.
these two positions, you're creating two positions in the organization.
Right.
Based on Chief Harris review of the department. These are two areas we need strengthened, especially with the third station coming on. And so that's why you're creating those positions to go
It's
back.
not
and
adding
be
any
more
staff,
efficient.
not adding any payroll.
But according to our information we received prior, this is within the current budget.
Correct.
Right,
Yes, it
that's
is.
right.
That's
No
right,
additional
exactly
budget.
right.
Correct. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions concerning item E? Do you want to vote on that one now, or you want to talk about F and then vote?
It doesn't matter how you want to do it. We vote on it. I'm cool.
Let's
I
go ahead and
make a motion, we approve E.
Okay, we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Willis that we approve item E, the amendment as presented. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Now, item F, this is the extension of a conditional use permit for 205 Greenhaven Drive. Mr. Perkins.
As I recall, about a year ago, maybe a little less than that, that this came before council, and there was a window or something that was only open for the applicant to submit an application for a grant or for monies or whatever for that. And we, I won't say rushed, but we accommodated him so that positions or his conditions could be met. So my question is, with us moving in and helping him out during that window time and giving him ample time, why is there another year to proceed or to complete this project? Just asking.
It's my understanding that they had some complications. It's a complication application, but I think they're ready to put shovel to the ground within this current year is what I understand from Mr. Wells, who contacted us last week, that they're ready to go. It's just because the financing took longer than they anticipated for the project. But it was voted, it was 7-0 unanimous vote. I don't recall this one being controversial or a rush.
No, it wasn't. I just recall memory said that there's a window that he must apply for the grant or for monies during that time period.
I think that was the one out in Laurel Creek.
That's Low Creek one.
Oh, okay.
It is the same.
Developer.
We did rush it to the vote 2 years ago, as opposed to delaying a month to get revised elevations and stuff. We did a lot with conditions because they needed to apply for money. They received the money, and now they've had some other things that took longer. So we haven't gotten all the revised plans, but nothing's really changed.
Okay.
But start is imminent?
That's
My understanding is that they've got all their ducks in a row, and we'll start getting stuff to review again, and everything that we kind of thought would happen, sooner, and why we had to speed up. It wouldn't have even been a possibility if we hadn't approved it when we did 2 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions concerning that? Okay, I'll entertain a motion then for item F, extension of this conditional use permit.
Make a motion.
Have a motion from Councilmember Perkins that we approve the extension as presented. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move on our agenda to requests and petitions of any citizens. If there's anyone who would like to address the council at this time, now is the time. We welcome you, sir, again, being with us this evening. Anyone? If not, we will move on then. We do not have any reports of our boards and commissions tonight, so we'll move on to the report and recommendations of the city manager, Mr. Hildebrand.
A couple items for your information tonight. The ABC Board will meet on Thursday, March 8th at 2 o'clock, and that'll be at store number 1. The Lenore Tourism Development Authority will meet on Thursday as well. That'll be at 3 o'clock, 3rd floor City Hall. And also, the Lenore Business Advisory Board will meet on Thursday at 6 p.m., 3rd floor City Hall, so 3 back-to-back there. The National League of Cities Congressional City Conference will be held on March 11th through 14th in Washington, D.C., and Mayor Pro Tem Willis and I will be attending that, and I will cover a meeting for Mr. Rohr.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't throw your phone.
No, he has to. It's mandatory.
That's part of the job.
The City County Service Committee will meet on Monday, March 12th, 11:45, and that's held at the Community College. The Caldwell County Economic Development Commission will meet on Tuesday, March 13th, 8 a.m. The annual Leprechaun Leap 5K and 10K race will be held on Saturday, March 17th at 9 a.m., and that'll be held at the Aquatics and Fitness Center. And then the Park and Recreation Advisory Board will be on Monday, March 19th at 6 p.m., and that's going to be held at Mulberry Rec. And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Hildebrand concerning any meetings or things coming up? Okay, we'll move on then to report and recommendations of our city attorney, Mr. Blair.
I have nothing, sir.
Okay. Let's see, this is not the meeting, I gotta wait another meeting, yeah. I will have some more recommendations for you for boards at a later time, but I don't tonight, so I don't have anything to report. Anything from any of our council members at this time you'd like to bring up? Okay, seeing nothing. We don't have okay. Then if we don't have anything else, we stand adjourned.